What's up? What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Lions Den with Seth. This is your boy Seth. Hopefully you're having a great time and a great weekend. So before we go into the show, I want y'all to take about 31 seconds to make sure you hit the share button, because this is going to be a great show. We're going to be talking about running for change. Okay, running for change with our boy, Mr. Chris Jones. Y'all, it's going to be a great show. Don't go nowhere. Yeah. What's going on, everybody? What's up? What's going on, ma'am? Hey, Miss Sarah. What's up? What's going on, everybody? Make sure y'all hit that share button. Let us know that you hear the share button. All right, that you hit that. Yeah. Yo, Big Nate, what's going on, man?
Man, nothing much, man. Just day by day, minute by minute, man. Good to see you, brothers.
Always. How's your weekend going?
It was good.
Yeah.
So no complaints.
That's good. So look, what you think about that 90s party, bro?
Bang.
No, Alter Ego came out.
I heard. I heard, man.
No. It was good. It was good, man. I really enjoyed it. You always put on a great show, man. So it's always live. So I appreciate you.
No, man. Hey, I appreciate y'all coming on out, man. It was all love. Hey, Larry, what's popping, man?
Hey, what's good, man? Just putting the final touches on our family reunion next week, man. So next Saturday we're having a family reunion over in St. Louis. So they kind of passing the torch to the younger generation, which is our generation, and starting to get stuff up. So yeah, man, it's good, man. I got some ideas for next year and how to kind of move and I want to pay homage to some of our elders in the family. Like I want to start paying homage to them while they're here before they pass away. So those are just some ideas that I'm gonna start throwing out.
Hey, real quick, Larry, you from St. Louis though, right?
I am, man. Don't start.
I was gonna say, did you got the address? Because I just want to make sure you get there on time, man.
There you go. Don't start.
Hey, y'all, look, check this out. What that is, okay? Somehow, for some way, Larry has been born and raised in St. Louis, and we're not too far from it, but somehow he always tend to get lost.
10 years, man. A lot has changed in 10 years,
bro. But you don't need GPS around the corner from your mama's house.
Hey,
man.
Up,
man. Hey, first, tell me something good. First of all,
I am. But first, I gotta give Larry some respect right quick, because he said he just wanted to show respect to the elders, right? Yeah. He didn't say I'm ready to give them some flowers. I'm tired of that phrase. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I'm tired of I gotta give these flowers. Don't give me no flowers, man. Give me a shot of Jack or something. Don't give me no flowers. You know what I mean?
So speaking of that, is that what it took for you to get up and do your solo at the church?
You know what's funny is I asked my wife before church. I said, "You think it'd be crazy if I took a shot before church today?"
Jesus, I don't do it.
But I didn't do that though. You know what I mean? I didn't take no shot. You know what I mean? But let me clear things up. I didn't do a solo. I just got up and did a little riff. That's all it was, man. Had a good time, man.
So listen, before anybody, first of all, shout out to everybody that's watching right now. What we don't need,
come on with the
ask him to do it or anything. We don't need that now. Check it out. He tried, and something happened with the internet. It kind of clicked out. You dig? So I wouldn't have to go through that no more.
Let me tell y'all something, man. I can't help that I'm highly requested. You know what I'm saying, on that mic.
I think you can.
You know what I mean?
I think you can. But anyway, y'all, look, make sure y'all let us know that you hit the share button, okay? Let us know that you put hashtag share. All right, we appreciate y'all, dog. This is the Lions Den. Her, man, go ahead and introduce this our outstanding guest.
Hey, so on the Lions Den, man. Just in case y'all didn't know, we like to focus on professionalism, leadership, and growth for the call to action. And what better way for it to be a call to action to actually run for political office yourself in your community? If you want to affect change, why don't you be part of that reason? So for that, you know what I'm saying, we got my guy, Chris Jones, in his AKA colors, you know what I'm saying, representing, you know what I'm saying, for Clarksville, Tennessee.
Yo, Mr. Chris.
Hey, man. Hey,
wait, but hold on, man. Look. Now you knew we was gonna do this, right?
You knew I was coming.
You knew we was doing this. How you doing today, brother? How you feeling?
Man, living the dream, not pushing the snooze button, man.
That's what it is. That's what it is, man. But look, thank you, man. Look, so welcome to the den. All right. So this is where men, women, and everyone come to commune, have a good time, talk about all things positive, but not necessarily though, because there's a other side of the positiveness, right? Because we go through all things, all trials, tribulations, ebbs and flows. So first, just introduce yourself, man. Let everybody know who you are and your why.
Yo, I'm Chris Jones. Import to Clarksville. Originally from Detroit, but I've spent majority of my life in Clarksville.
Wait. Hold on. Wait, where you say you from?
Detroit. Import. What up, bro?
Oh my God.
You know what? See her, what you failed.
I wouldn't even ask him if I know. If I know he was from Detroit, I wouldn't even ask him to be on the show, dog.
Hey, Exit 9, Joy Road, man. Exit 9, Joy Road.
What? Yo, between 7 and 8. All right, look, we talk about that later.
But yeah, that's what I said. From Detroit, but Clarksville raised me, though. I have to give that prop to them. They raised me. I joined the military. Was in there 15 years. Did the early retirement, and then lobbied for a few years, worked for a president for a few years, then decided to come back home and make a difference, take all I learned and apply it to the local government. So now I'm throwing my hat in.
Hold on, you say you work for a president. What president you work for?
It's not just a president.
Yeah, he man said that he said I work for a president like it was nothing. You know what I mean? I worked at Kraft food goods. What president you work for?
I worked at the pleasure of the 44th president, President Barack Obama, for 2 years. Yeah. Great time, man. It wasn't like I see him pass by and was like, hey, sir. No, worked hand in hand. I did all the social media through a fellowship program they have. It's the Presidential Management Fellows Program for U.S. students that are in school and want to get into politics. They put in your application and they picked me. I was like, oh, for real? Oh, okay. Let's do this.
Nice. Okay. Well, look, that's what it do. Hey, well, look, Big Larry, you ready, man? Tee us off, man.
Absolutely. I'm ready. All right. So, Chris, what I want to talk about is just, you already kind of talked about, I don't know if you hit your why yet. You didn't tell us why. What got you into politics? So what got you on this path where you're now being nominated to run for a position in Clarksville? What's behind that?
A lot of times coming from the community I came from, it's like, well, they go do what they want to do anyway. And doing further digging, I was like, they doing what they want to do because someone from the community not representing or going in or finding out why. Like in doing the numbers, it was heartbreaking. I was like, somebody have to be in there that they know from the community that do it. A lot of times it's like, okay, this is who on the ballot. I guess I vote. But it was to change that, like, hey, somebody, flaws and all, can get into office and do what needs to be done, but actually understand it. I don't think a lot of people understand city government, what they do, what perspective they come. So, like, I knew this a whole year out that actually like 2 years out. And that's why I got my degree in what I got in. I got it in social justice, it's sociology, but a concentration in social justice from D. Fisk University. And so I need to understand the perspectives, the whys of why people do things, what's the trends, and especially for the unique setup of the neighborhood I live in. So it's 2 housing projects, poverty-stricken houses, but then it's also a affluent area in there as well. So someone that could connect all the pieces where they be like, hey, where they don't know what we doing over here. And from the other point where, hey, if you pull up your bootstraps, I feel like I'm that piece in the middle where I pulled up my bootstraps and I know what it is to do without too. So
there you go. All right, y'all take it off, fellas.
Hey, so check this out. So you mentioned that you went to Fisk University, so I want to go right in there, right to the beginning. Is picking a HBCU part of the reason why you felt like going into politics was for you? Do you feel like going to a HBCU helped you in that?
Oh yeah, they definitely prep you to face anything in the world going to HBCU. But I kind of went into it reverse. So I went to a HBCU after being in the military. So you come in with one perspective of like, hey, everybody bleeds green. Yeah. Until you take off the uniform. It's a whole smack in the face.
Man.
So when you take off the uniform and you get, and I was enlisted, I was an officer. So like it was a certain level of respect that was, for lack of a better word, that was expected because I wore these 2 bars on my hat and chest. So when I took the uniform off and was like, wow, I would say I lost a lot of that Black experience that I grew up with. And I was like, oh man, I got to get back to it. So Fisk was the obvious choice to like, hey, if you want to go for academia, if you want to go have a good time, go to Tennessee State. But if you really want to do academia, get into it. With like John R. Lewis went to Fisk University. Like, if you want to talk about politics and civil rights, he went to Fisk, sit-ins, everything. In fact, it's a social justice center that Fisk is raising money for. That's named after John R. Lewis. And so it's the natural pick, but it prepared me with the type of leaders. Like they had judges, local. What really made me join, one of the local politicians was my professor.
Okay.
I was like, wow, like she's from Clarksville and teaching. Well, she's from Clarksville and she's teaching at this course about government issues and types of leadership. And I'm like, oh man, okay. It's attainable because I see it in my face. Representation matters. It's like, wow. So
it's beautiful.
That was all Fisk.
Go ahead, Nate.
No, great feedback. And, I'm a huge Tennessee fan, grew up in Chattanooga. So, it's definitely a Tennessee thing. And I got a quick question for you. If you have a motto, share that with us. And secondly, what tools did you take while serving in the fellowship program the fellows program that you would like to explore during your movement now?
My motto is Jonesing for Greatness. And that comes from I lived in Lincoln Home Projects, which is ironically next to a 4-year institution.
Next to Austin P.
So I would go over there all the time. I was one of those guys where I would go to Austin P, and if they was having any program for the students, I would be over there watching. So that's where I learned about Kappa Alpha Psi. That's where I learned about all different fraternities and sororities. That's where they learning that the freedom of expression. They was giving poetry slams and all that, and that was just being a nosy kid from the bricks and saying, oh man, this is what's going on over there. And then having mentors that were over there that were just saying, hey, this is a kid that actually want to learn something. Dr. A.J. Stovall, I'll never forget, he was the director of the American Culture Center in Austin. He took me in, gave me books to read, gave me the autobiography of Malcolm X and the Souls of Black Folks, and wanted me to tell him about it after I read it. I was like, oh, okay. This is different. Okay, if you really want to be something in life, education is gonna get you there. It's either one or two things: education or the army. And I never knock a hustle because that's what was going on there. Never knock a hustle, but I knew it wasn't for me. I wasn't built for that. But never knock it because sometimes in being in that environment, it's survival mode. I gotta do what I gotta do to survive.
Wow.
But I just knew that wasn't the route for me, so the tool I used was the military.
Yeah. Well, look, shout out with that, man. So, and first of all, want to let everybody know we appreciate y'all being on. Make sure you put down these questions, right? So we can pop them up live, and so we can just throw them at Chris because he's going to need this. You dig what I'm saying? These type of questions about why he's running and everything, and what his mission is, and what's his intentions. So that's what I'm going to give you right now. All right. Let's say I'm one of your constituents. Okay, that's living in that neighborhood. Older gentleman, right? 20 years older than you, but and I have a history of the the surrounding area. What would you tell me to garner my vote?
First, if it's older student, I would approach it with study to show thyself approved. I've studied this area. And I was having a conversation the other night. I smoke cigars.
Right.
I would be lying if I tell you I was trying to quit. But I was having this cigar about the history of the area. And with seasoned constituents, they want to know that you know the history so you ain't forget where you came from. And I was telling this guy, like, hey, in Ward 6, there hasn't been a high school there since 1968. Like, the only high school in that area, you got to pay $10,000. A middle school hasn't been a middle school there since the 90s. So it's like knowing about the neighborhood, knowing that they have to bus kids out to these other wards because it's not a school in that area. And that's to answer Nate's question. That's one of the things I got from the fellowship is that, hey, bringing a community together, and it's not just on me. If I win this thing, it's gonna be a we, because I need to know whoever opinions it is to get things done. Because I have my perspective, but if I'm not listening to y'all and y'all not telling me what you want, or you're not getting what you want, or if it's falling on deaf ears, I understand what the gripe may be, but I would tell them, hey, what are your concerns? What do you want me to bring to the table? Because essentially it's all about having a seat at the table, and one that can articulate and bring your voice to the masses.
Mm-hmm. So, and even with that being said, have you ever approached a question with another question? Hey, what have you done so I can help further you along? You get what I mean? And don't get me wrong, some people might take that as being a little bit too assertive and not political enough. However, individuals want to size you up, right? But then how do you know how to meet them if you don't know where they've been? Because some people just want to walk around talking but keep their hands in their pockets.
The first question, and it's in the numbers. Mm-hmm. It's in Montgomery County. Not Montgomery County, excuse me. In Ward 6, is 4,893 registered to vote. What I want to know is, are you part of the 1,493 that voted?
See, there you go.
See, we can't. Hey, if you're not, and that's part of the conversation. Like, that's gonna be my push. Yeah, I want to talk about affordable housing and revitalizing our neighborhood, but to get there, I gotta know that you're voting. Like, if you see the structure of the map, right? Structure of Ward 6 map, and that's what makes Ward 6 unique. Before the census of the last U.S. census, this ward had 3 housing projects in it. It had Greenwood, it had Lincoln Homes, and it had Summer Heights, which, was notoriously known for not voting. Which this election, it gained another section that has a populace that has a huge voting base, which could swing. It affected like 2 or 3 different wards, the way they restructured their map. So if this election really counts, because the maps be reconstructed. So if you don't get out there and vote, and you have complaints about your neighborhood, whether it's people flying down your street or people blasting their music, or it's the city not cutting the trees down by your house or any of that, you have to vote to have that representative that's saying, hey, this is about to be the highlight of Clarksville, Ward 6. Ward 6 is the most popping area in Clarksville. They building a convention center down there. They building new shops downtown. All that's in Ward 6. Part of Riverside Drive, all of that is Ward 6.
So check it real quick, because I was in that cigar bar when Chris had this conversation with the guy. You know what I mean? And the question he asked you, I'm gonna rehash that question that he asked you. Right. And the answer that you gave, he said, and I felt like he was trying to school you, but he wasn't really ready to school you.
Right.
He asked you, what was your priority at being a politician, right? And I felt like the answer that he wanted was an answer that every politician gives. But once they get in that position, they realize, you know what I'm saying, what their limitations are. And I felt like your answer was, let me find out what my limitations are first. But let's go over that. He asked you, what's your priorities? What should be your first concern as a politician? What did you answer?
He said, what should be your first concern? I said, man, I got to check them books. I got to see what's earmarked for Ward 6. What projects been completed? What projects haven't been completed? Hey, any business that you're going on, let's just talk about it. City politics is a business. Any business that you go into, you got to read them books to see if you're in the red, what's in the green, what's losing money, what's gaining money. Is this really affecting the whole community? And then he hit me with we the people. I said, but the part about the preamble is you got to go down some lines, and it says ensure domestic tranquility. Bro, I read the Constitution too. It says ensure domestic tranquility. To do that is doing what your constituent want, finding out what's the need. And now that's affordable housing in the area.
Outstanding. Go.
All right. Hey, so listening to you, you come from the projects, you got military experience, you have the HBCU experience, and also you have working at the White House or working for the president, and then just life in general. So to me, how I view you is you're pretty well balanced, right? As far as life experience goes. So my question to you, and it's kind of related to some of the other questions that's been around, is how do you translate all of your life experience to reach those that only have limited experience, if that makes sense to you? So basically what I'm asking you is, you can touch those that come from nothing, the struggle. You can also reach out to some of those that's pretty affluent, as far as coming out of the White House and that area, and being an officer and on that side of the house, you understand what some of those folks kind of come through that don't experience the struggle. How do you balance that to reach everybody? Like, I mean, you just kind of like the belly button to reach out, and you can relate to any class, I guess I want to say. You can, to kind of just get them to understand the importance of the city politics, right?
And to be honest, this is one that took for President Obama, and to meet all those, it's one common thing. It's respect. You have to respect, no matter if they're on the low, you look at them as in the lowest level, if you look at them as they're on the highest echelon, the common thing is respect and tact. Every time somebody, if they know me, they know I greet them with, hey, greetings and some humble salutations. Hey, what's going on? Hey, how you doing? Hey, I speak to everybody. It don't matter who it is. And if you meet somebody with positivity, I've always been a positive guy. Me and Hearn was talking about this in the shop. Is like, hey, I was able to go on all sides of town because I was that fun guy. No one wants to be mean to the fun guy. I was the fun guy. Hey, what's going on? Hey, life of the party. Hey, let's do something positive. Let's do something different. That's always been my attitude.
Nice. All right, go ahead, brother.
Yeah. So, as Larry talked about, you definitely have a well diverse background and portfolio. I want to take this another level.
Right.
How has the regime of President Obama, to the regime of Donald Trump, right, former saint, to now President Joe Biden, when you take a look at all the transformation that has occurred during that time frame, how hard has it been for you being in a political spotlight, running, for a position, capture that? I know it's been no easy feat, but how has that journey been for you? And how are you getting, individuals to say, hey, I'm here. I have your voice, and I'm ready to proceed forward. How difficult has that been for you?
Man, it's one of those things where you think you know how politics run, and you really have no idea. It's like, it's a crazy one. It's finding people that's like, okay, who's for me? And I broke it down. I talked to my brother who won the election in North Carolina to be a judge in North Carolina. So he was like my first go-to of like, Kev, bro, I need you. And he told me how he broke it down. It's like, hey, it's people who love you unconditionally. They go vote for you. They go ride or die for you. They gonna be there regardless. And then it's people, hey, you know from around the way. I may have knew it from when I went to Clarksville High. I may have knew it when I went to Northeast. Or they might have went to church with me. Or they might have went to church with my mama Gwen. Or they may know my family member down the street. So I had a list with that. Then I have people that's my social media friends. I've seen children grow up on social media who I don't even know. But I still be like, hey, congratulations. Reaching out to those people. Then I had some, God bless, I win this thing, that just want to be attached for a winner. So I divided those up. And went to action. Hey, this is what I'm trying to do. Hey, if you live in Ward 6, hey, a friend, tell a friend, hey, this is what I'm trying to do. But I had to break it up into those categories to say, hey, this is who for me, who's with me. But sometimes when they ain't for you and y'all have a common goal, that works in your interest too. And that's what's happening to me in this election. It's people, you have a common goal, and their common goal is, hey, we gonna get you in, we gonna handle that. And I'll be like, okay, I didn't even know people was handling that for me. And it's one of those things that with my granddad used to say is that, hey, be careful what's out there. You don't know who's talking about you in rooms you're not in. And that's been the story. They be like, hey, Chris, I know you. And I give them a look like, oh, okay. I know you do, but they know my whole line, my bio and everything. And I was like, yo, I don't even have nothing like on my bio out there like that. But they know me and they take an invested interest. So I see hey, they want to see Clarksville not be ran mom and pop no more, or they feel like I can do something. Either or, I've got my guns I'm going to stick to. So.
There you go. And I appreciate that, man. Well, look, shout out to everybody that's watching right now, y'all. This is the Lion's Den, and we're here with Mr. Chris Jones, y'all in the building. Yes. All right. Sorry, y'all. So this is how we're about to go into our couple of questions. Okay, go into some questions, right? Little lightning round for you. You ready, brother? So shout out to my man's Jeff Williams. All right. Hey, solid dude. Real solid dude. So he asked, how has the military influenced your leadership philosophy? And did it prepare you to look at diversity from a different perspective?
It did. I tell people all the time that basic training is like the show Real World that used to be on MTV. They take all these people for all aspects of life, put them in the room and say, hey, get along. And for some of this, I've had to do that for basic training, especially Ranger School when I wasn't. I was the only urban guy in Ranger School. It was little, so I had to depend on diversity so I could be successful. And that's the military's taught me that, hey, women can lead too. Hey, and especially I was in the service when we transitioned from don't ask, don't tell to the repeal of it. And I'll be like, wow. And during the transition, it was like, wow, I didn't know. Not that affected your job performance at all, because you a stud, like, to show that, hey, that can't hinder you for doing the job. Like, and I would tell, hey, it was some people that served under me and above that I was like, wow, like, they really making things happen out here. And not that would take from that, but I know what that could do if somebody has a different perspective, how you live in. So,
all right. Well, look, here's one more, and shout out to Miss Janae Wesley. She says, "What are your plans to attract and educate those who aren't registered to vote?" I think that's really, really important, and that goes back to Larry's point. So go ahead, man.
So it's we in a technology age. It's a site called Vote TN. Vote TN, you don't even have to get off your couch. You can do that thing from your phone. Register to vote on the Vote TN. That gets you registered to vote. Or it's the election commission that's in Veteran Plaza. You can go down there it's next to the public library. You can go there, register to vote there also.
Right.
Also, to tell you your vote counts. Like, it's people in this past election that lost by a few votes. So you must sadly mistaken if you think your vote doesn't count. Like, especially in these local elections, it's really decided, like, especially in Clarksville, of like, we got to know you. You got to be up out there. Hey, if they know you, hey, you good. I mean, people who implant inside, like, if you're in the community, you will win. If you're really in the community, that'll show that, hey, I'm really in the community. I'm for the community. If you're an implant and you win, which has been quite a few of those, but all those people that have won that are implants, they've been part of the community. So it's all about, hey, getting your face out there, that they get to know you, that they trust you. It's all about trust at the end. Hey, I trust what you stand for. You from this area and you made it. Or because I look so young, it's like, hey, my kid might could take something from you. They may be more responsible and they may be more responsive to you because I look like, I was telling her, I was like, hey, I used to teach at this, it's called Genesis Learning Center. And I would meet the kids where they were at. Like, I wear Friday was kind of like a free day. You could wear like t-shirt and jeans. And I had Jordans on it. And that Trump, wow. Hey, I tell them, yo, I'll bring a new pair here. Y'all ain't seen. Hey, y'all got to get this turned in or whatever. And then they knew I was from some of the neighborhoods that they were from. And it was just the thing, like I was saying before, representation matters.
Well, Chris, but speaking of representation matters. You're from those areas, right?
Yes.
You know them, but you say that historically they don't go out and vote, right?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So what can you do to change that, really? You know what I mean? Like, what is, I mean, I hear what you're saying, right? But you saying historically, we all know, you know, they don't get out there and vote. How do you talk to them? How do you talk to those people in Brick City, Slab City, and all the other housing projects, Poster Street, and all that? How do you talk to them and be like, hey, I need you to get out here and vote? Well, how can you influence them to get out there and do it?
Chris, before you answer that question, let me add on to that, Herm.
Okay.
What's causing people not to vote? What do you feel is the number one reason that's causing individuals not to vote?
What's causing them not to vote, they don't think their vote matters. Point blank and simple. They don't think it's affecting any local politics, that it has any effect on what's for the future of Clarksville. Like, hey, they go do what they want to do. Nothing's changed over here since I've been living over here. I've been living over here this many years and nothing's changed. I would say that this election is important. Like, it's affordable housing. It was a vote to shut down affordable housing. Like, that affects you. And it's in Clarksville. No one wants. It's a catch-22. Hey, they want to they say they want to upgrade those housing areas, but to upgrade it, you have to displace those constituents that stays there. And it's a pass the buck. Well, hey, we want to upgrade it, but I don't want them necessarily open. And it's finding an ingenious way to upgrade, like, the housing authority. Why doing it in phases? Why you really don't have to displace them. Hey, you can build one, put a family in there while working on that one, then you could do it in phases. Or you can have an ordinance where they were talking about where they building up housing areas in the city, where you can say, hey, this percentage of what you building has to be between 10 and 15%. 20 would be great, of affordable housing. Like, that's doable, because they got to come before city council before it gets approved. It's like a simple fix, but it's like it's one of those, hey, nobody's gonna say it. It's one of those things you can't be afraid to do something because you want to do re-election. Yo, it is what it is. Hey, I want my action to show. If my action ain't showing, hell, don't re-vote for me. But politics is an action verb. It's an action verb. It's show and prove. Hey, it's one of those things that if you really, really, really want to change, you can go to the council meeting and be an advocate. No, I don't want that in my neighborhood. This is why I don't want it in my neighborhood. This is the effects I think it'll have on my neighborhood. But people don't exercise the rights that they have, that's afforded to them, to say, hey, I can go to this council meeting. No, you're not building that in my backyard. This is a residential area. Don't be trying to build this 4-family flats the only single family household can fit on, you can go in and say, oh, no, that's not what we're doing. But you have to be able to know what your abilities are to affect your local community government.
Well said.
Hey, Chris, I want to ask you this, man, because I want to that now that we're talking about this with the vote thing, right, and folks saying votes don't count. You know, we heard that over maybe the last decade or so. Yeah, my vote don't count, so why should I vote? That's a lie. Because if your vote didn't count, why would they come out with this new initiative called Real ID? You know, somebody explain to me what the hell a Real ID is versus the ID I have now. Why is it any different? So it matters, and it matters on the grand scheme. That's why they keep trying to redline and redistribute where your neighborhoods are, so that your vote really gets diluted.
And they just did it. And they just did it in our ward. Voter suppression is real.
Yeah, and so what I want us to wake up for, and that's just minorities across the whole platform, is to wake up from my vote don't count, or I voted, but we still.
I know what the misconception is, though. Not to cut you off.
Go ahead. What?
I know what the misconception comes from. The misconception comes from the electoral college, where they say, "Hey, where it's pretty much majority takes all," and it's based on the votes on the state. And whatever the electors, whoever has the most electors vote for him, that's where all the electoral votes go to. And so it gives that, hey, my vote don't count, because they're going to give it to whoever has the most electoral votes anyway, which that's not the same in local elections. Local elections is probably an election where your vote does count. And maybe some parts are true that when you're talking about presidential elections or that and of that magnitude where it's more citizens, but when we talking about 4,893 registered voters, and if you want change, your vote counts.
Yeah,
and it really does.
And that's important. That's what I want to get out there. But I also want to shift now, because we understand your vote does count. If you don't think it counts, pay attention to what's happening in your neighborhoods and get away from the front porch and the backyard politics where we're talking amongst each other. If you want to make change, you got to do what you're doing. Get out and get in that field and start being a voice for your community. That's the only way you're going to get change. You're not going to get it from the backyard. You're not going to get it from sharing memes and social media posts. That's not going to change nothing. But what I do want to shift now to is the political game. All right, we talked backstage a little bit about it, but I want you to hit it now in the mainstream. Talk about because to me, boy, you risking it when you want to be a politician, man, because they can dig up some dirt on you. So talk about the dirty part of the game that comes with this.
Hold on, wait. Hold on. Hold that thought.
I can't even imagine if I try to run for some office.
No, bro.
The stuff they'll pull up, man.
You know why? Because look, social media has been around a little bit too long for all the stuff that you've been doing.
And I've been a thug on social media for a long time, man. They're gonna bring up all Facebook felons, you know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna run though. Watch this.
Yeah. No, just run away. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, we'll take a pause for the calls, y'all. We're going to get into that question right then and there, y'all. So if y'all haven't done so already, hit the share button. We appreciate y'all for being on, y'all. But we really, really, really want to give you a special message that you don't want to miss. We'll be right back.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Seth with the Lion's Den. Are you or someone you know looking for a tool to help them be more accountable? Check out the Black Collar Mindset, the Art of Strategic Thinking. It's a manual to help maneuver through life strategically by holding yourself accountable every step of the way. Go to theblackcollarmindset.com to grab your copy today. Again, the website is theblackcollarmindset.com. Trust me, you won't be disappointed. Let's get it together.
All right, everybody. Look, welcome back, y'all. We here with the Lion's Den with Seth, and we got Mr. Chris Jones on representing the 4th Ward, okay, in Clarksville, Tennessee. He's getting ready to talk about the ugly side of politics. And backstage, he said something that was very intriguing to me. He said, "Your enemy can be my friend." Your enemy can be my friend. So we getting ready to bring this young man back up here in the building. Y'all give a nice virtual round of applause. All right. Yeah. All right, bro. You ready to touch on that? So going back to what Larry was talking about was the ugly side of the politics. You want to touch on that real smooth?
First things first, I'm running for Ward 6.
Oh, Ward 6.
Yeah,
okay.
we the 6. Yeah, we the 6. And
okay, so it's Chris Jones for Ward 6.
Ward 6. Yeah,
gotcha.
Okay. You know, when you're doing your social media handles, they'll give you limited characters. So I had to 6. So 4.
Okay, there you go.
So, but no, it's going in. I'm when I tell you I'm a normal. Hey, I have my thoughts, and going into politics, they may bring up things that necessarily that may, but I'm one of those. I'm a transparent person. I've always been transparent. So you can't bring up something that's gonna affect me. They'd be like, "Hey, Chris, you had a DUI." I sure did have a DUI, but I served my repentance for that. But I'm like Noah. It's a different mission for me. Yeah, I may drink, but it's a different mission for me, and that's kind of the game that you play. But if you stand on what's happened to you, there ain't nothing anybody could say that. I'd be like, oh, okay, he already brought that up himself that he had a DUI. Yeah,
right.
I haven't seen him drinking anywhere. The Herman to tell you, it was some good scotch in there. And I was like, no, I'm good. I got these cigars right here. And they were sipping and everything. But it's one of those things that when you have a higher purpose to do something, you can't let those. It was one. I read this book by Devon Franklin. He says a man that can control his impulses can do anything. And so I knew that was one of my impulses, and now I can control it. It's on me. So it's one of those things where and sometimes that's what I was saying earlier about, hey, sometimes even with transgressions that I have, it's somebody that has a common goal that's greater than my transgression. And that's where that phrase I was talking with Seth earlier is that, hey, even with my transgressions, it may be, hey, some people that think I should be the guy that's in the seat. I can't help that. I just say, and it's one thing we was talking about. It's two certainties in life. It's our time to take over the family reunion, and it's our time to get into local politics. It's one of those things, and that's not taking anything against my opponent. It's nothing. She's done great things. Her family's done great things, but it's time to pass the torch. And fortunately, I'm that guy.
Yeah. You know what? It's funny you said that. Also, to your point too, Larry. So I've just been elected, or no, but it's not even elected. Volunteered to put on our next family reunion as well in 2 years. You know what I'm saying? So now it's never thought, like I asked, and you know what? That's the thing though. When you ask, like, who are the makers of this thing? Like, we've been doing boo boo boo, and then when you ask, I'm like, well, just volunteer. I'm like, wait a minute, this whole time we could have been at the strip club. No, I'm joking. But at the same time, you want to make sure that you have a hold of tradition. You understand? Yep. But you still have a grasp of current concepts, marrying them together to move them in the forward direction so that it would be easier to pass the torch. Because what you don't want to do is wait too long. And then your arm is heavy now. You can barely lift it to pass it on. You dig what I'm saying? Right. So, but no, I just want to touch on that real smooth. Go ahead, Herm. I saw you was thinking. Now, look, hopefully you weren't thinking something stupid. You was thinking something about his vices. You was talking about scotch. You was probably thinking about some ribs.
I know. I was thinking about trying to give up rice. That's what I was thinking about.
I knew it.
But he did touch on something that I do want to talk about, man. Mm-hmm. Because he is taking on an incumbent that's been in there for a while. Somebody he's quite familiar with, you know what I mean? He grew up with the family and they family friends. And, you know what I'm saying? When he first announced that he was running for office, the daughter, who was a friend of mine, came at his throat. And I know she's a friend of him too. And I just wanted to know what he felt about that. And full disclosure, I love the way he responded because he showed much respect to the person that's in the seat right now. You know what I'm saying? But like you said, it comes a time that when, you know what I'm saying, somebody's older, they should move more into an advisory role. You know what I mean? And pass the torch on to somebody's younger and make sure they stay in an advisory role to that person. At least that's how I feel. I might be wrong. I'm not wrong often, but you know what I'm saying? Sometimes. No, but Chris, let's talk about it.
No,
I ain't wrong, man.
No,
Come
hold on.
Did I lie?
A many a times. Okay, but go ahead. Chris.
But no, man. I've known Candy a long time, man. Good friend. But it's one of those things. One is, and I would never ever disrespect a woman, whether it's we agree to disagree. I never disrespect. So people can come at my neck or do what's one, or they could tell me this is how they feel, but you not go hear that from me because I have the utmost respect, especially black women. I have the utmost respect. So you will never get that from me. Never. And it's not about what she haven't done. It's about what I'm gonna do.
Boom.
It's that's it on the head of like, hey, these are my points. These are my objectives. This is what I feel that I need to do in the neighborhood to make Clarksville successful. Because that's, I think, the misconception. They be like, hey, you need to represent your ward. But essentially, it's you representing your ward for the greater good of Clarksville. So but what's crazy is half of the things they're trying to get rid of happen to be in my ward. It was brought up that it's a golf course. Mason Rudolph Golf Course that they wanted to sell and take down. That's in my ward. Roxy Theater that they didn't want to revamp is in my ward. Swimming pools that's been dilapidated or not thought about has been in my ward. It's like everything that's going bad, the revitalization that some people feel gentrification is coming in. It's happening in my ward. So it's these things that you have to be, if you don't know how to handle big Walmart coming, you might get ran over. And I've done it in that circle before, so I know how to articulate like, hey, this could be the effect if you do A, B, and C. Mm-hmm. If you haven't lived it, you can say, hey, I lived in Clarksville all my life, but sometimes it takes some outside ideas to come in to make, hey, what you got? Hey, this cake may be good, but hey, you better let me add some frosting on it to make sure the cake will eat it. And sometimes you need outside, objective, unbiased ideas to be put into motion.
Perfect.
No, sometimes, I mean, that's great. That's great, because you're always going to have those individuals that, with you being so young and you coming into the game and, your experience, that's also an identifier, against you because, how well versed your portfolio is. And
Hold on, Nate. He's really 53 years old, man. He ain't that young, man. He really about 53.
I'm 41, man. I'm 41. Crazy. I tell people I have a 20-year-old, man. It's about to be 20. Yeah, I have a whole 20-year-old, man. So
we'll go ahead, my bad, man.
No, you good, brother.
And they have to tell my secret, man. Yeah.
And so I was gonna just sit up there and just say, sometimes it be that way, right? Because how well vested you are. And sometimes people may look at that as a threat, but I like your bounce back to that. That's vitally important. My question is that with your experience serving alongside President Obama, how do you still stay in contact with them, and how much of an influence or what are some of the takeaways that you've taken away from that to help further push you along?
If like I text them every day, no, but I do have correspondence, like they send a Christmas card. When the first lady was doing the becoming, I got an invitation to the becoming, so that like if they have anything going on that's in your local area, they let all the staffers know, like, hey, this is what's going on in your area. Let us know if you want to RSVP before we make it mainstream. But I've been fortunate enough to be in the places where people of affluence can influence me. But when it came to like the local elections, I did reach out, and then it was a simple response. You know what to do. Like I was looking for some real like, hey, you need to do A, B, and C. And it was quite simple. It was like, hey, you know what to do. And it was like, okay. So I guess for the response, I guess I did know what to do because the response has been overwhelmingly positive. But I've always been in a situation where people, like I was a general's aide, and that was just from being in the right place at the right time and asking the right questions. And that's what it is with being around people that can influence you. It's asking the right questions. Like when General Smith was a Fulbright, I was like, hey, sir, we both were members of Kappa Alpha Psi, and we were all was together at a hail and farewell. I was like, hey, sir, if you ever become a general, let me be your aide. And he was like, man, they ain't gonna pick me to become general. But when he did, he remembered. He was like, hey, bro, come with me. Let me teach you about the big picture of things.
Did y'all twirl the canes together after he made you the aide? Did y'all?
No, he old school. He just like, I pay dues. I throw the yo.
Okay. All right.
Y'all so damn.
I'm just trying to make sure that I want to know if they shimmied together, man. I ain't know, man.
You know how they got to get pretty.
Maybe at the clay. Maybe at the conclave. I can get a video. Get a video at the conclave. But it's I've always been that fortunate where it's, and then I work for a nonprofit where I lobbied for them. It's Marine Corps Scholarship Foundation, and it's a few for Marine Corps Scholarship Foundation where they give scholarships to dependents of Marines and Navy Corpsmen. And then I lobby, but in this office where it stays in Alexandria, so it was different floors. On the 7th floor was Colin Powell's office.
Wow.
So every day I would see Colin Powell get on the elevator and like he'd be like, hey, how you doing, young Ranger? What's going on?
Man,
hey,
it's got to be cool right there, man.
Yeah, like it was cool. And so one day I was coming down and he was like, hey, where you going? Where you going for lunch? I was like, hey, I go to this sandwich shop that's down the street. He's like, you want to ride? I was like, yeah. So like, wow. He had it, and that was my first time riding in a Tesla. But we talked about politics. I was like, sir, in long down the road, I'm thinking like 50 or sometimes I may want to do politics. And like he gave me some tidbits about, hey, just your inner circle, like you're a representation of the 5 people that's in your inner circle.
Hold on.
He was like, now look.
Say it again. Yo. What? How many people? You say you what? What is
top 5 people? Financially, spiritually, education. Usually, your top 5 people you hang around influence that. So I was like, wow, the people. So I thought about who my 5 was then, and I was like, oh, dang. Do I want those?
Right.
You stopped at about 2. You're like, hold on.
Hey, it's like a bad spades hand. I got like 3.
Yeah, it was like, yo. And that was my circle. And like my circle in Clarksville has always been solid. But then I was living in DC. I was like, whoa, okay. Let me see what moves that I can make differently of that. And then I changed my crowd. And once my crowd changed, like things just started happening. Like, it was like I was getting an interview. I came off the fellowship. So once you come off the fellowships, you usually have jobs, just people, headhunters coming at you. Hey, you want to? So like I had a job offer from TV1, one for BET. And if anybody knows me, they know I have a wonderful co-parenting situation. So when my kid's mom was like, hey, I need you to move back to Clarksville, they was like, okay. Would I rather turn down the money for this or be an influence on my kids? I chose being an influence on my kids, while at the same time accomplishing my goals, working in the community. So like it was like 2 birds. So like we was taking the kids, like I was like, okay, kids, you going on this journey with me. Hey, we're going to Manna Cafe to Soup-cation. So we're going to this program they do at Christmas time where we serve in this community. And this before I even thought about running for council. It's just paying it forward. Making my kids realize how fortunate you are. Seeing the communities that, hey, this is where I grew up. You can't be afraid to go to the community with your own people. You can't be afraid. During COVID, it was no rims in Clarksville. My daughter hoops. So we took her, and she wasn't no girls out there, but she had to play boys. But she still had fun, and it was still in the community. And to walk around and have a community that you from, embrace your kids, man. I could ask for nothing better than that.
That's dope. Go ahead, Big Larry. I know you got one last question, man, before we go into that to the corner. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Before we go into the corner, man, I just want to ask this, and I like to speak things into existence. So I want to say, when you get elected, what do you plan to do as a city councilman? What are your goals? What are your aspirations? What is your vision? Paint that picture for us.
It may sound cliches, but a better Ward 6, like it's been overlooked for so long, except if you're in the right part of downtown, like if it's booming, but it's more of the surrounding communities looking into the finances, like I said earlier, see what's earmarked with for us. See if we could do the small things like, hey, there's trees around Ward 6 that need to be cut down that's falling on these people's houses, and they may not or may have the insurance to get that to cover it. But that's besides the point. If it's anything that the city could do to better that community, why not? But to be that representative, it's having those talks with whoever that is that's like, hey, these trees need to come down. Hey, they need speed bumps in this area because people be flying down this street and it's not even a highway. Like my street, I live on Main Street, Clarksville. You would swear it's Wilma Rudolph, the main drag through Clarksville.
Tiny town, all that same.
That's crazy. Right. And so it's one of those things with infrastructure of like, hey, I live it, I see it. This is the voice. This is what they want heard. This is what they want you to do as other wards to make a better Clarksville. If this is where everybody's going to end up coming, y'all don't want to look like a eyesore, because this is what they'll say. They'll be like, hey, I went to Clarksville, but when I parked my car over here, somebody was looking in my car or something, but that comes from not embracing the community that gives so much to the city.
Right.
That's one of those things. I heard somebody say that's like, hey, that it's a rough neighborhood and it looks bad, but how can you expect a community to respect the community if you don't respect it?
True.
If all you doing is putting lipstick on a pig, you can't expect the community to respect it if you don't. I promise you put them something new there, they go want to show it off, so they go keep it up to show it off.
Sure.
I'm gonna tell you this: working in Parks and Rec, real quick. Working in Parks and Rec, the parks that's near the projects and stuff like that are the most well-kept ones. You know what I'm saying? You would think that it wouldn't be, but those folks, it's like, you know, they take care of their stuff a little bit more than the rest of the people in the city. I'm just keeping it real. Like what you just said, you give them something to be proud of, they'll be proud of it.
That's dope. Hey, well, listen, Chris, man, we got a little section going on, right? It's called the Black Collar Corner. All right, now there's a section in the book, right, that talks about affirmation, and it's stated, "You are dope." Now, this past weekend, I was with a group of brothers, and we had a section, or that as we closed out, we gave each other levels of or different types of affirmation. So, what I want to ask you is, how important is self-affirmation along your journey? You got 1 minute.
Self-affirmation, I do it every morning. It's part of my meditation of saying, hey, bro, you can do this. Like, you've been through some of the hardest things in your life. You fell in a pile of crap and come up smelling like roses, and that's because you believed in yourself when others didn't, when others let you down. Just letting you know that, hey, you can do this, you really can. And that I may not know it, but it's somebody who wants me to get there more than I do. And find those people and put them in your circle.
Dope. Appreciate that. That's solid. Big Nate, man, final word, bro.
No, I just appreciate you. Thanks for what you've done and what you continue to do. And many blessings to you, brother, on your journey. It's not a matter if, it's when. And that time is now. So I appreciate you. And from 1906, you know, I appreciate you, brother.
Right on, right on. Yeah. Hey, go ahead, Big Larry. What you got, man?
Hey, brother Chris, I want to say I appreciate you coming on to the show. Time is one of those things that is invaluable. I don't care how much money you got, you can never buy back your time. So thank you for spending that hour and a half with us. And I hope as you go through your journey, your political journey, that you reach back and be like, yep, I was on the lines then with Seth, with them boys back in my early days. So when we do your documentary, as you become president, boom, we'd be like, yep, we home. Y'all wasn't hip, we hip.
Right on, right. Oh, go ahead.
Hey, first thing I want to do is say thank you for coming on the show, Chris. And what I really want to pass on to you, man, is win, lose, or draw. I hope you go back into the community and show those kids that you ain't gotta be what you see outside your doors. Look how far I've came, you know what I'm saying, without taking the route that a lot of you have taken. Win, lose, or draw, man, I think that, you know what I'm saying, that you are a walking epitome of what needs to go back in those communities and show them, like, look, we ain't gotta do this. There's other ways out. You know what I'm saying? And if they see a person like you that's cool, hip, that's from there, you know what I'm saying, running from office, achieve what you've been able to achieve, I think you can truly, truly make a difference.
Right on, right on. All right, Chris, man, listen. So I'm in with this brother from Detroit. That is somewhere else. Yeah, what up, though? No, so look, real talk. Coming from the crib, going somewhere else and making change, I too have done that. You understand? Ran for office over here in Belleville, Illinois. So I understand that and I appreciate you. And if anybody want to know what this young man is going to do if he does not win, that's not the energy we talking. You dig? Now, what I highly encourage is that we have a part 2 on whatever happens. Right on? What you think about that?
Yeah.
You with that?
Oh, yeah, man. I'm here regardless. It's for the culture, bro. I'm here.
Always for the culture. And so, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate y'all. We appreciate y'all time. This has been the Lions Den. This is what we do. Y'all have a good one.
He's from Clarksville.
Vote.
All right. Hey, Chris, don't go nowhere. But we holler at everyone. We see y'all later.